Hello, thanks for tuning in. This is Steve, the Indian Nation's Piper. Just sitting out on the front porch this morning on this beautiful May day, enjoying the scenery. And I'm smoking a Rattray's Beltane's Fire, nice little pipe. And it comes with three different stems, an amber stem, a red stem, and a black stem. And I just chose to put the red one in this one. I hope it looks all right. Wish you could see the grain on it, but probably not on this phone that I'm using for a camera. And smoking this morning some Rattray's Old Gallery. Everybody probably knows about this one. It's probably one of my favorite blends right now. And it says it's got exquisite dark Virginia, not just dark Virginia, but exquisite dark Virginia, Kentucky, and a hint of Perique, matured under pressure, then cut and hand rubbed. Rattray's Old Gallery, Rattray's Beltane's Fire. So, hope everybody's doing well this morning, or evening, or noon, whenever you're watching this, nighttime. I just thought I'd take a chance to make a video this morning. I haven't done one in a while. And I wanted to talk about a story that may or may not interest you, but I find it rather amusing myself. Back several years ago, living right here at this same place, I was standing at the kitchen window looking out the back yard. Guess you'd call it a yard. We got several acres here that we call a yard. And all of a sudden, something hopped past underneath the kitchen window. And when I say hopped, I mean hopped. And long ears, long nose. And I thought I saw a kangaroo. I was swore it was a kangaroo. I still believe it was a kangaroo. Um, and of course, that drew a lot of laughs from my wife and my boys. I guess they probably all thought I'd gone potty or something. But our backyard is constantly full of deer, and that's what my wife said. Well, you saw a deer. No, a deer doesn't hop like that. A deer doesn't have ears as long as what I saw. And it was up real close to the house, and usually they don't get that close. They just kind of stand out in the backyard. If you look at my banner on my channel, you'll see sometimes what I see out my back window, all those deer standing out there. So I know what a deer looks like. I know how a deer moves, and I know that they don't hop like that. So of course I went running through the house saying, I just saw a kangaroo bounce past the kitchen window in there. We all come running outside, and of course we didn't find anything. And oh, the laughing and jeering started. Said I was losing my mind. I was seeing things. Um, all kinds of jokes were being made at my expense. But I was still adamant that I saw what I saw. Oh, we're living right here in Oklahoma in these hills. This is not Australia. This is Oklahoma. There are no kangaroos around here. You've lost your mind. You're seeing things. I thought, well, maybe I am, but it sure looked like a kangaroo to me. And of course, the joke spread. They started telling all of my friends that I was seeing kangaroos in my imagination, and a good friend of mine, probably the best friend that I've ever had, Dennis, came over one day. Sadly, he's passed away now. God bless him. He came over one day and he had this sign, and it was a diamond-shaped yellow sign like you see on the highway, and it said Kangaroo Crossing. I'll put a picture of it in here. And he put it up on my porch, and it's still on my post on my front porch. And everybody that pulls up says, "What's this? What's this all about?" Of course, I have to tell them the story. Get this thing going good. So I've lived with that for years. And I was still determined that it was a kangaroo. They never convinced me any different. Uh, Thought about in Shakespeare's what Hamlet told Horatio after Hamlet had seen a vision or a ghost of his dead father. He said, "There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt about in your philosophy." So that's sort of the attitude that I took on my kangaroo vision. You may not believe me. It may sound strange, but that's my story and I'm sticking to it. Well, it just so happened that a few years ago, I got an email, or I'm sorry, I got a text from my middle son who lives way down south of me here in the hills, in the boonies, off the grid. And he had seen on Facebook, I believe it was, I don't have Facebook, a report and a picture that he sent me. In the county just south of us here, a lady had hit something on the highway. A deputy sheriff was following her behind her on the highway, and she hit something. She thought it was a deer. She pulled off on the side of the road, and of course, the deputy pulled in behind her. And lo and behold, it wasn't a deer, it was a kangaroo. And I've got the pictures of that Facebook post. The deputy took pictures of the kangaroo, the dead kangaroo that she'd hit. And I'm going to put that on here about this point and let you look at those pictures of this kangaroo here in eastern Oklahoma, one county south of us. And I said, aha, vindication. This may be Oklahoma, but there are kangaroos running loose around here. At least one. Now it's dead. But I just felt, I just felt vindicated. Of course, still, that wasn't enough to convince everybody that I had seen a kangaroo in my backyard. Well, lo and behold, a few weeks ago, when I was at church, a lady at church is a mortician. She works in a funeral home. And she said, "You'll never guess what I got to do this weekend at a funeral." I said, "Well, I don't know." I said, "You're a funeral director." She said, "Yeah, but this was different." I said, "What was it?" She said, "Well, I went to conduct this funeral, and it was just in a town just a little ways north of us here. And the lady came in, and a lady that was involved in the funeral, part of the family or something, she said, 'I need some help.' And this funeral director lady said, 'What is it?' She said, 'I need somebody to babysit for me.' She said, 'Okay. It's not my usual job, but I can do that since I'm not going to really be involved in the service too much.' So she handed her a blanket, and inside of that blanket was a baby kangaroo. Now, this is just a few miles north of where I live. And I said, 'A kangaroo?' She said, 'Yes, a baby kangaroo.' So they were just born, and this one was kind of rejected by the mom, and this lady was taking care of it, trying to raise it up. And I said, 'Where did she get a baby kangaroo?' She said, 'Oh, they raise kangaroos. They've got a kangaroo farm.' I said, 'Ha ha!' In the mouth of two or three witnesses. Let every word be established. So, again, to me, that was vindication. And I know it sounds strange. It was strange to me. And I still can't convince people that I saw a kangaroo in my backyard. So I've got a yellow diamond shaped sign on my front porch that says kangaroo crossing. But I've got pictorial evidence and verbal evidence that there are kangaroos in this part of the country. And I can't believe that sometimes maybe one of them gets loose. So there's my story. Believe it or not, I don't know. I know when I was in college, our humanities teacher, he was a little strange, but he was a good guy. He would usually end his classes by saying something like, I just see if I can remember how he put it. He said, "So, is the Loch Ness monster real? Yes. So, is Bigfoot real? Yes. Are there UFOs? I don't know. They're unidentified." So, there are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. So, I just wanted to share this with you today. I'll be with you in a minute. Wanted to share this with you today and let you decide. So that's all I wanted to talk about. I wanted to let you know I've had this story brewing for a long time, and just finally this morning I thought it'd be the perfect time to share it. So let me know. What do you think about it? Have you seen things that are strange that you can't explain? Were you sober? Were you hallucinating? Or do you really believe that you saw what you saw? I know there are people right here where I live that swear that they've seen Bigfoot. I don't know. I've never seen him. I've never heard him. But to each his own, I guess. So anyway, I hope you have a good day. Hope you got a chuckle out of this. Hope it uh, starts you thinking. Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. And thank you for all the comments that you make. I really like the conversations that we have. So anyway, I'm going to get off here. This is Steve, Indian Nation's Piper. Tune in sometime. You might like some of the things I talk about. You might not. I don't know. Anyway, God bless you. Have a good day.